The United stand. Manchester United have beaten Cardiff City 5-1. 5-star from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And it's going to be your calling. It's been a big week. I've got Dan on the show. Dan, how you doing, pal?
Yeah, what's going on, Mark? How you been, brother?
I'm good. Look, I don't want to just talk about the game. I want to talk about the week that's gone as well. I mean, a week ago we lost to Liverpool. Liverpool are now top of the league. But it's funny, isn't it, that Liverpool now 4 points clear at the top. Could be winning their first Premier League title ever, which is a horrible thing for Manchester United fans. Yet here we are, sort of not focusing on that because we've got our own journey, and it started tonight with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and a 5-1 win. What's your take on the week?
Let's see. On the whole week, Sunday was absolutely depressing. Just to watch us sit back and get shellacked. Monday might have even been more depressing because then you wake up and he's still in the job. And then Tuesday, I was actually off of work. Couldn't pick the better day off to take off, and felt like Christmas Tuesday, a week early. It's fantastic. I actually wanted Laurent Blanc at first to be the caretaker, but you don't know how that works, if he was available, how much he would cost for the rest of the season. So, I mean, after one game, looks like they got it right with the OGS.
I think the one thing about if we'd brought Laurent Blanc in is that I don't think we would have had the week we've had with somebody coming in and saying, this is what I want United to do. This is the United way. I know everything about the club. I think Solskjaer's integration has brought positivity on a different level, and that was evident in the performance today. I mean, in your wildest dreams, did you think we were going to go and win 5-1, even with Solskjaer? Because what do you think it was about the team today that put in that performance when it's not been able to do it under Mourinho?
Main thing is I just think they were enjoying themselves. That's the big thing for me. I mean, you see it at any level when these players are youth players, academy players. They just love to play the game, and they were really enjoying playing the game today. Even players that looked like they weren't having a good time under Mourinho. Even Matic would go through the motions and stuff. Guy was actually trying to play the ball forward today, actually playing today with almost like it was a street game, like it was street ball. You pick up 11 of your friends, you have a game, and you see how you could get on, and that's what it was, but with professionals, with real talent.
I'm going to be asking everybody this tonight, but what are your expectations for the rest of the season? I know it's only one game, but people are already talking about, well, we might be able to beat PSG, we could get top four. Well, what is your thoughts on that?
I think we have to park all that. Anything I think would be a bonus for me. I think we just hit the reset button in terms of the season when he took over. It's a brand new season, but we're starting, behind the pack. Whatever we could take out of this, whether it's player progression, getting new players on contracts, promoting guys like Greenwood, Chong, Gomes, players like that. If that's what comes out of the season, then so be it. Just looking forward to enjoying the games again, watching the games every week, seeing how we're going to play going forward is really the main thing for me. No expectation whatsoever.
Adam Dewhurst says that Mike Phelan deserves a lot of credit. He does. He definitely does. Is there any part of you that would, and I know again this is very premature to say it because we don't know what's going to happen next week, next month. I mean, Ollie will be in charge for February when we've got to play 2 games against PSG, Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal. He will have tougher tests than today. But is there any possibility that you would be looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as manager, or is there nothing that makes you, sort of hungry for that to happen? You'd rather go for a Pochettino or a Zidane?
I think in the long term, those names sound appealing. Pochettino and Zidane both sound appealing. But I think that just based on, I think by mid-January, by the beginning of February, we'll see what the formation looks like then in terms of the personnel. I think if guys like Jones and Young are still consistent starters, he's going to have more of a say on that, so I'm not going to be too sure on that. See if he still brings on Fellaini, players of that ilk. But listen, like I said, if this team progresses and you start seeing Delo week in, week out, and week in and week out, players like that, and they maybe reach some heights that weren't thought of when he took over, I'm all for him staying on. He's basically a homegrown talent, much like a player would be, but as a manager.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's very early days. I can only repeat what I said in the week about Solskjaer, and that is that, look, if it went perfectly well, I would want him because, we're talking about Pochettino, we're talking about Zidane, but the bottom line is they're cultivated by another club. They're somebody else's development, and in the next 5 years, there'll be another Pochettino. There'll be another Klopp that started out somewhere, and that we want. And I just think, maybe we shouldn't be so hasty, because we could create something that is ours, that played for our club as well. I think the ideal situation would be that Solskjaer is a success and becomes our manager. But I think it's still unlikely. But I would like it. I would really would. What was your thoughts on Pogba today? He was my man of the match. Do you think he answered his critics, or do you think there's still question marks over his attitude and behaviour?
I think he'll need to do it over a more consistent period, but I thought he was fantastic today. I think also, too, it's going to take some of the players around him coming up to speed with the game, because I think there was times where he wanted to do things on the ball and they just weren't ready to do it yet, because for the last 2.5 years, they haven't been doing it. There were some passes he wanted to play forward that guys weren't ready for, some 1-2s that guys weren't ready for, but I thought he played very well today. The only thing missing was a goal. Excellent on the assists, especially the one for Herrera to pick him out. I know the took a deflection, but I thought he was great today. I thought he bossed it.
Yeah, brilliant. Dan, thanks. Really appreciate it coming on, first guest, and having your say. It's been a big week, and I know a lot of people want to have their say. It's been a very interesting week, and have a good Christmas if I don't speak to you before.
Absolutely, you too. Merry Christmas, everybody in the comments. Happy holidays, and let's roll on to Huddersfield. Take care, Mark.
Definitely. You too, pal. I'll speak to you soon.
Later, brother.
Look, you know what, as well, that is a great point. Who'd have thought that we'd be going into Christmas with some positivity? We only had one game to get it, and we got it. So thanks to Ollie for that. Fantastic comment there from Heshem Ladjil. He said, "This is today's football. Real Madrid did it with Zidane, and we can do it with Solskjaer." I mean, I like Zidane. I prefer Zidane to Pochettino, but it's one of those two for me. But look at Zidane, played for Real Madrid, and now was their manager and won back-to-back Champions Leagues. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer played for Manchester United. Surely that's what we want as our manager. He knows what the club's all about. So I don't think he will be our manager, but if you're asking me what I would rather have as our manager next season, he's got to jump through a few hoops. He really has, but I would want Solskjaer as our manager next season if he can do it. If he can... what has he got to do to get the manager's job? For me, he's got to get top 4. He's got to beat PSG. He's got to not get embarrassed by any of the top 5 teams. And maybe I think I'm going to set the bar quite high, because I think it needs to be quite high. Solskjaer's got to win the FA Cup. He's got to get us top 4, and he's got to get us past PSG. If he does those 3 things, I'd give him the job. And anybody who says anything less, that's up to you. But I think we need to set the bar high. I really do. So that's what he needs to do, as far as I'm concerned. Right, I'm going to start grabbing some calls from the Discord. So make sure you're in the call queues, and we'll start grabbing people in. There's not loads in, to be honest with you. So I'm going to see if we can get Adam. Adam, can you hear me? Hello, Adam. Can you hear me? Oh, it helps if I put myself in there. There we go. Adam, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, hey, Mark. How you doing?
It's all right. I was shouting you, but I hadn't put myself in the queue there. So tell me, Adam, how are you feeling after that performance from Manchester United today? Are you carried away? Are you realistic? How are you feeling?
Glory, glory, Man United, and the Reds go marching on, Mark.
You're feeling a bit negative then.
Fucking elated. Finally, you get to see what these kids can do. Let them go, let them run, let them play the beautiful game that they know how to play. And what I saw today, I saw 3 major changes: attacking tactic, passion, and confidence. You got those 3, we're going to go places, and we don't need to make dramatic changes. Yes, we can go sharpen up the team a little bit if you want, but look at what this guy's done. I mean, look at Pogba at the end of the game, jumping into the crowd, giving some kid his shirt. Look at the passion. That's all you could ever ask for. So I'm elated, absolutely elated.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, I'm glad you mentioned Pogba, because there's a certain Manchester Evening News journalist who loved Mourinho because Mourinho name-checked him in the press conferences, and has spent all week sort of trying to twist it that Mourinho was the victim and that Pogba was the virus. He even said this week that United fans aren't happy with Pogba. They booed him at the last game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did it on Boxing Day, which for me I thought was sort of encouraging people to do that. I'll be very surprised if anyone's booing Paul Pogba on Christmas on Boxing Day at Old Trafford after that performance today.
Well, you know, we were talking about viruses, right? And viruses and infections. But I can tell you something. Pogba has an infectiousness about this team now. You played him, first of all, in the number 10 role, which is where he should have been bloody played the whole time. You have the holding midfielders behind him. You have the whole team pushing forward even after we scored 3 goals, 4 goals, 5, everyone's pushing forward. And you see, after each goal, I'm seeing high fives, I'm seeing hugs, I'm seeing him talking to the players. And you know what? Ultimately, that's what you want out of a captain, right? And I think, personally, he should, that's what he can aspire to. I think he's got the cloth to make it long term. I think that Mourinho is just, it's like keeping a lid on a flame and just giving it just enough oxygen so that it bleeds. Well, Solskjaer came in and he took the bloody cover off, and now you've got a roaring fire. And that's what you're going to see from Pogba. So I'm absolutely ecstatic, and I just hope. I can't wait for Boxing Day. I can't wait to see this team trot out at Old Trafford and just hear the crowd. I haven't been like this since Fergie, man. It's amazing. It's an amazing day.
It's interesting as well for those people who saw Wayne Rooney on BT Sports. Now, Wayne Rooney has, from the quotes I'd seen of him over the last few months, had seemed to be putting the blame on the players and backing Mourinho, and tonight he was really taking shots at Mourinho. So maybe there was an element of professionalism from Rooney while Mourinho was in post, but what he has said is that Manchester United is a big part of my life. It was never nice watching what was going on. Once Ollie got the job, I thought I'd give him a message of congratulations and my feelings of how it's been from speaking to some players and what I feel needs to change. First of all, get the lads enjoying playing football again. That's what the lads wanted. He's definitely the guy to make them do that. So really insinuating there that, 1, he played under Mourinho for a little bit. 2, he's very good friends with Michael Carrick. And 3, that all was not well in that dressing room and that the change needed to happen. And it is simply about giving the players the opportunity to do what they wanted to do. And today, we did it. And they went out and played, absolutely fantastic and entertained. They were happy. The fans were happy. Football's quite simple when it's like that.
I got to tell you, I was on the phone. When we're watching the game, we've got all the guys. Remember, I told you we have our own little chat room there. Bigger stickers. Shout to Star Boys. But we're all actually on Discord. We got the game on mute, and we're all talking on Discord, watching the game. And the only problem we have with that is that there is a certain African gentleman who's 2 minutes ahead of us in the time, and he's yelling out, "Go, go!" and we're not even there yet. But other than that, everyone's screaming and yelling, and then we went on Discord right after with all the guys. And I got to tell you, I think I mentioned it in the call. Out of everybody talking, I think Mourinho's name was mentioned maybe 15 or 20 times in the whole conversation. That to me is positive. We're looking at the now, which is the future. And Mark, I'm just so excited to go into the Christmas season, for everyone to have a happy Christmas. And I can't wait for Boxing Day.
Great. Well, thanks for coming on, Adam, and a happy Christmas to you as well. Really enjoy your call.
Thank you. You too.
Cheers, pal. We're going to take some of the calls in a minute, but let's just interact with the live comments a bit, because there are people who are moaning about 2 things. 1, because Jose Mourinho is still on the phone calling thumbnail. That's my mistake. We will change that. But in a way, maybe Jose wants to call in and say it's not my fault. I don't know. The second thing is that people have said that I've set the barrier too high for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to get the job. Look, ideally, I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to have the job on a permanent basis because he's cultivated from our club. So it's a no-brainer to me. But I do think that, can you judge a manager on 6 months and commit to them by giving them a 3-year contract? I think to do that, he's got to not just do well, he's got to do exceptionally well, because then it's not much of a risk. And to be exceptionally well, I would want top 4, which I think is a massive achievement still. I would want the FA Cup, because that shows that we've won something. and I would want to beat PSG in the Champions League. The PSG one's probably the hardest one, but I think that he's got to do beyond well. To get the job, for me, he's got to do beyond well, because he already hasn't got the job. I think Woodward's looking elsewhere, so he's got to do something exceptional. That's what I think. Darian Jones says, until now, Ollie has had Ford Escorts. Now he has a Ferrari and he wants to take it for a spin. So refreshing. Our identity is back in 90 minutes. I think Solskjaer sees this as his opportunity in the sun. And whether he gets the United job or not, I think what he does want is a job in the Premier League. He wants another crack at it, and he's going to go for it. He's not going to be reserved. That's why he's brought Mike Phelan in. Mike Phelan was Sir Alex Ferguson's right-hand man. He knows what the score is. And I think Solskjaer's just going to go, look, there's no pressure. We're going to go out. We're going to play the way you want to play, because that's the way I want to play, and that's the way the fans want to play. We're going to entertain and we're going to have a go. And if we lose games of football, we lose games of football, but we're going to have a go. We're going to enjoy it. And I think that's what he's going to do. And I think he's going to grab the opportunity. And I hope it goes well. I know a lot of people want Pochettino, and I wouldn't mind Pochettino, and I wouldn't mind Zidane, but I tell you what, my dream scenario would be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as our manager. Do I think he can do the job? I don't think he can at the moment. Even after today, I don't think he can. You can't judge his managerial skills after one game. And to be honest with you, if we're hypercritical, what I would say is, why was Phil Jones starting today? Even though we won, and I'm massively positive, I still got to say, you should always want, I'm a firm believer that when you're successful, you should always be looking to how do I be more successful? And I still look at that decision and I think, well, Eric Bailly was man of the match against Liverpool and he's fit. And this is our hardest game of the three that we've got over the next week. Why didn't Eric Bailly play? Why did Phil Jones play? So that was one thing. Why did Ashley Young play? Just because you want him to be captain. Delo's better. So that's two things. But I'm nitpicking, and I'm not even going to nitpick about Matic, because I thought Matic had to play today, because I don't think Fred and Pereira are anywhere near fit, because Mourinho didn't keep them fit. I do think long term we need a CDM. It's the most important thing in the team, but at the moment we will have to use Matic, so I agree with that. But the Jones and Young thing, they were two things that I thought, they're a bit dodgy, but it was a brilliant performance, flawless. Everyone was 8 out of 10. And there's room for improvement for Ollie, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen with it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I do not want Conte. VJ, stop trying to wind me up. We do not want Conte. Let's take another call. Let's see if we can get Robert.
Which
on.
one?
Hello, Robert.
Oh, Undembele.
Robert, you're live on the United stand if you want to be.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. What do you want to talk about? How do you feel?
Oh man, I feel like a new man. I don't know what's happening right now. It feels like a cloud's been lifted.
It is amazing, isn't it? Because we are still, Liverpool are top of the league.
Yeah,
that should depress United fans. But I think we've been through such a horrible time that we're just so focused on ourselves. We've had such a positive few days, and here we are. We've just scored 5 goals for the first time since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. And match of the day, whatever it is, wherever you are in the world, it's just a great feeling to have some positivity and to do it in the United way as well. I mean, how did you feel watching that game today? It was like a blast from the past.
It was. Listen. I'm in Kenya, and I could feel the positivity from here. Just seeing the fans go wild. I could, seeing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer celebrating with everyone on the bench like Fergie used to, and seeing the players on the pitch having fun. I think those are the tactics. Just go out and have fun. And I don't think they've done that in years. So it's great to see that. And it looks like they're just ready for the next game.
It's great because you mentioned the celebrations on the touchline, and I think that over the last 6 years, we've all, obviously with Moyes and Van Gaal and Mourinho, we've all harked back to Sir Alex Ferguson and what it used to be like. And what's been refreshing about Ollie is that he came in this week and he's like, I'm not ashamed to say that I modelled myself on Sir Alex. He was a massive part of my career. And there he is on the touchline basically being like a mini Sir Alex. And it's, it was like a blast from the past, and I think we needed that. Do you think... What are your expectations realistically? Because Cardiff, I think, will get relegated. And, we did say after the Fulham game it was only Fulham, but there was a difference in the way we beat them. But, 8 points off 4th now. Do you think we really are good enough to close that gap? It's a massive gap. And do you think we are actually one of the top 4 teams in England, potentially?
Right now, I absolutely think so. Because, as we saw today, Chelsea and City, of all teams, are dropping points. I think we can definitely do it. I think between Chelsea and Arsenal, we could definitely take steal a fourth spot, as long as we keep this up. And I don't see why we can't. I think the only games you'd have to worry about is against any of the top four teams. But the rest of the teams below them should be worried, because United it seems like we're back. We have our front three interchanging, their positions, just causing havoc. Pogba's looking like a whole new player because he's playing a more advanced role. He's giving through balls and enjoying himself too. Even Lindelof looks like a whole new player giving through ball. I haven't seen him play like this since he came for us. So it's looking exciting. And the thing is, we didn't even have Low get on the pitch to deliver some of his crosses. Fred didn't play much today. So Solskjaer has a lot to work with, and he's done a lot with what he had today.
Alexis Sanchez to come back as well. Getting the best out of a lot. I thought all the players looked a lot better today, and we haven't seen. I suppose the interesting thing is, and I'll throw you this question because it's a tough one. Do you feel? What do you think about Lukaku? I mean, do you think Lukaku in that game today would he have been able to? Would we have scored the goals with Lukaku? How do we solve the Lukaku problem?
So Lukaku today, I think his touch could have possibly could have caused a problem, but the way we're playing this type of football, I think he would have to be an option off the bench. Rashford is perfect for this. We're playing on the ground. We're not running and crossing every chance we get or booting the ball from De Gea. Solskjaer he had to pass the ball to our defenders, and so we had possession, and we're counterattacking almost the entire time, putting them under pressure, and that was our defense. And I don't know. I think Lukaku could thrive in it, but I don't know. I would rather start him on the bench and keep Rashford on. He's looking fantastic right now in this formation and this style of football. I think we do well with nimble, quick, players that can just finesse the ball. And Sanchez, when Sanchez gets back, we're going to see Sanchez, not what we had in the beginning of the season and last season, because he's not the kind of guy that plays in a rigid system. So.
I don't know what happened there, everybody, but we should be back streaming live now. I don't know whether that means it's going to go into two parts later or whether we've saved the stream or not. But we should still be here anyway, so please do drop a like on the video. But I was just talking about, obviously we were talking there about Manchester United's win over Cardiff and whether Solskjaer should be getting the job permanently, what he needs to do for that. The change in United, how they changed so much. And clearly it is... the blame game's not a great game to play, but I think that a lot of it does come down to Jose Mourinho, as many of us would have thought. But yeah, what I was saying before is that I think when you look at the way United play today, the quick press, the one-touch passing, I think there is a place for Romelu Lukaku. But I agree with the previous caller that when you look at Lukaku, a lot of his build-up play is very, very lethargic. And when you look at the way United play today, and I think the way that Ollie wants us to play, that then becomes a problem for Manchester United. Bjorn Lundberg says, can we have the Stone Roses song one more time? I may do that for you. And a few people in the live comments, obviously the glass half empty people, they want to talk about the fact that it's only one game and it's only Cardiff. And you know what I'm going to say to you people, have a cop yourselves on a little bit and have a bit of positivity in your life, because we've had months of negativity. So what's the problem with being a little bit positive about United? And actually, why are you being negative? Because we've just scored 5 goals for the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson's reign in the Premier League. So you can't sniff at that. You can't just say, oh, it's only Cardiff. Well, it was only Fulham at home. And we didn't beat them. We didn't score 5 goals against them. In fact, Fulham probably would have got something out of that game if they hadn't have had the dodgy red cards. So the standard that... And also, Leicester have just been and beaten Chelsea when Chelsea were at home. Crystal Palace are a poor side. They've just been to the Etihad and beaten City at home. We've been away to Cardiff, who are not in the bottom 3, and made them look ordinary and won 5-1. That's the sort of thing that Liverpool and City normally do, not what United do. So sorry if we're being a little bit positive, because I think some people are trying to run before they can bloody walk and start saying, oh, we should be doing that. Well, we haven't been doing that. We haven't done that to anybody for 6 years. So I think also, what we haven't done for 6 years is play a brand of football like that. So I think that the positivity and the excitement is good, and it might be short-lived. You know what? Maybe we won't lose to Huddersfield. That's a walk in the park. I think Bournemouth next Sunday is an interesting game. That could go a couple of ways, but I agree. I think the positive is a good thing. I really do, and I think that we should embrace it and be happy, because the change as well. Where are the people now moaning about Ed Woodward and the board? I think that the change was a positive change, and one that will benefit Manchester United in the long term. Let's have a look at some of your live comments before we do another call. Remember, it's on Discord today. I don't think I've put the link in the video description. That's my mistake. After that performance, who do you think we buy in January with a £50 million budget, says Courtney Chase. We will spend money in January, Courtney, and Solskjaer has sort of already alluded to that, and that's a real big positive. But where we spend the money is interesting. I personally think that Manchester United, when I watched us today, the midfield is still the area that I think against the top teams you've got a little bit of a concern, and then that's where I would look to change things in the midfield. I think Matic is coming towards the end of his career and is not mobile enough, and Herrera, he's good, but I think Herrera is a backup midfielder. So I think hopefully people like Fred will come through, but I do think we need to strengthen, especially around the CDM position. But I think we'll probably be looking at a centre-back. I think we probably will be looking at a centre-back, if I'm totally honest with you. And I think that's what we'll go for. Mr. Glenn Johnson, look at Lukaku in other clubs or when he plays for Belgium. He's not a target man. Give Lukaku the chance to play in a forward-thinking system where he can face the goal. Yeah, but you know what? In a Belgium team, all the work's done behind him. Hazard, De Bruyne, and he's just finishing it off. If you watch United today, that's not what Rashford was doing. Rashford was interchanging with Martial. He was coming deep. He was one-touch passing, and he was part of the build-up. Lukaku's not part of the build-up in a Belgium team. Lukaku wasn't part of the build-up in an Everton team. Lukaku was the finishing piece in those teams. The build-up goes on around him, and then he finishes the job. That's the problem with Lukaku in a performance like today. We're going to have to adapt the way we play because he can't be part of the build-up. He's got no first touch. He's got no good passing ability. So Lukaku's good in a team where it's built around giving him the chance to score goals. He's not good in a team where the number 9 has to be part of the build-up play. And that's, I think, what people are talking about there. Mark, in this team, there's no place for Lukaku, says Haha. And Lozano says La Frogs. I do think a right midfielder would be good, and I think that, as I spoke about on the transfer show before, that the interesting thing about United now is that we do become a more viable option to talented players. I mean, if you think, I'm only going to pluck a name out the sky here, it doesn't mean they're coming to United, but if you think Christian Pulisic, I think a week ago, if he was offered United, he'd be like, oh, I don't fancy that. Look at how Martial and Pogba are being treated. Today, he's a United fan, so he'll know we won 5-1. He'll be like, I'll tell you what, I quite like the look of what's going on at Manchester United. If you can get me a move there, I'll have a bit of that. Thank you very much. And I think that is the important thing, is that the change of positivity is really important. Let's see if we can get another caller on. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? All right, that's not working. We'll try somebody else. Alec, can you hear me? You're live on the United Stand.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Good, thanks. You?
Good. Phenomenal game today. Felt like a new breed, felt like a new team. It was just amazing.
It's a shame it wasn't the first game of the season, really, isn't it? Because we are only playing for... Well, do you think we can get top 4? I mean, 8 points off it now.
I said this the other night. I was talking to people like Chewy and Adam, and a few of those guys were having a discussion. Some of them might have thought I was crazy, but I truly believe if they play good enough, they can make top 4. And if the players give their all, even some of the defenders look a little better today, even though we didn't play Bailly and stuff like that. I think we could beat PSG. And I think, an FA Cup run would be good to win it. But we could definitely, I could see us squeezing 4th or 5th place. I really do. It all just comes down to if you're on a good track and the team's playing well, then you only have to worry about sorry, if you're not losing, you know, and you have a good consistent run of games or, you know, small draws here and there, like today, Chelsea lost and City lost, and you know, we just have to hope for those small moments to come back, because you can't erase points from another team. You know what I mean? So we just have to do our best catch up game and hope that the you know, the great Premier League takes its toll on the other top 6 sides.
I think the problem, the realistic problem we've got with top 4 is that, one, we're 8 points off, which is we've got to, you know, if we take Chelsea away, they've got to lose 3 games and we've got to win 3 games. But on top of that, we've also got to not be dropping points when we're playing Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs. So it's one thing to close the gap, which is basically 3 losses for them and 3 wins for us. But it's then, when you've closed the gap, it's maintaining that. So it can be done, but I don't think any of us should underestimate how hard it's going to be.
It's a long stretch to get fans around the world to believe, but I'm a firm believer in that. You know, you're not a United fan thinking, you know, we're all about making something out of nothing in dire moments and stuff like that. So I believe that they can, you know, if we get fourth, it'd be a miracle. I don't know in the sense of if the board should keep them or not. I'd say that's a wonder job. It's almost unrealistic. You know what I mean? But when it comes to, you know, you show how strong you are. I think the next 2 months is what's going to show the strongest. Not even April, May, stuff like that towards the end of the season, because we have back-to-back top 6-sided matches, and we have to play PSG. You know, I think we have like Chelsea, City, Liverpool, or Chelsea, City, Spurs, or something like that within like all in 1 month, within a couple weeks. So, you know, that depth in the squad and that determination on how you play and how well you suit yourself, you know, as a player and to the tactics that they're given, they could make something out of nothing. And really, I feel like they could show their strength and crush all these teams. And if we make it past PSG, that's an award in itself, don't you think?
100%. I think, you know, we have a chance in that game now, whereas I think under Mourinho we had no chance. Do you have preference for manager?
Goals, Mark. Most since Fergie's left, like. But even, it's only Cardiff, and they could say what they want. But we had the issues we did with West Ham, Brighton, and, you know, etc. But what was that? I'm sorry. What did you ask?
I was going to say, do you have, you know, Solskjaer apart, do you have an ideal candidate for the Manchester United job that they think they should be going for in the summer?
I almost feel like it's something I don't even want to think of. I just want to embrace the goodness of now, you know. But I think, you know, you got the debate on both sides. You got Zidane, who's a European winner and never played in the Prem. It's a risk. He had a Galactico team. And then you have Pochettino with no financial backing. That's not, you know, a tactical mastermind who kind of bottles it in a sense every time he's given the chance. He's put in a situation like that, you know, winning anything. But he knows the Premier League in and out with the money and the tactics. At this point, I might have to say I'd go Poch. You know what I mean? I might be a firm believer on that. But either way, I'm just happy to see how we're playing right now and to see Ole taking things in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for calling in, pal. Really, really appreciate it. And good points. And please do call in again.
Thanks, Mark. Have a good one.
You too, pal. I've got Flex trying to ring me, and I've got no idea. Can try. Okay, he's going to try. There's a comment here I wanted to read out, and it was SBG Wentmoss saying, to be fair, 8 points ain't a lot. I think that is the danger. I know you want to be optimistic, and you know, please do make your own opinion up. But it's not 8 points, is it? It was 11 points this morning, and you're already setting the standards. Oh, it's only 8 points. It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points. And 8 points is 3 losses for them and 3 wins for us. And I've been on about this under Mourinho, so I've got to be consistent and say that, you know, all right, Chelsea lost to Leicester today, but that was a surprise. Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs have been ridiculously consistent at beating the teams outside the top 6, home and away, and that's why many of us have said, no, it's not possible. Now, if they're going to start dropping points, I mean, who would have predicted Man City would lose to Palace at home today? You would almost bet your life on that. It was ridiculous. I don't know how that's happened. I can't wait to watch Match of the Day for that, but I don't think we should start saying it's only 8 points. I think 8 points is massive. And it was 11 points this morning, like I say. It's almost mission impossible. And 8 points is a very, very difficult thing to do. As I say, we could close the gap on them to like 2 or 3 points by the end of January. But then February, we've got in the league Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal. Are we going to win all of those just to keep it at 2 points? Or is it going to open up again to 6 or 7 points after we've played those games? So you can look short term, you can look long term. But I would say, look, we can do top 4. Ollie himself said we've closed bigger gaps before. And he's talking about the title against Newcastle when it was 12. But to do it, it's going to be very, 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 very hard. And I don't think we should expect it. I think we should hope for it. We should go for it, but we shouldn't expect it, because I think that's unfair on the team, and it's unfair on Solskjaer, who's only just took the job on, that we're like, oh, he's got to get top 4. I don't think it's easy to do at all. Tyler says we will get top 4, and Townsend's goal was incredible. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that again. 8 points in 20 games, says Adriano 1738. Yeah, but I disagree. It's not simplistic. Closing an 8-point gap in 20 games, of course, it looks really simple, but it's not. It isn't. For one, you don't know how good this team's going to be. It's been very inconsistent. Are we going to play like that every single game? Is playing like that today good enough to beat Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea? Who knows? I'm just saying, look, let's just enjoy what's happening. Let's enjoy the positivity. But let's not start saying, yeah, we're definitely going to get top 4 and that's the expectation now. Because I think realistically, it's a difficult expectation to hit. But what we should... I don't want to put too many expectations on, but what I would agree with is that we should be beating Huddersfield and Bournemouth in the next 2 games, because Old Trafford's going to be rocking. We've got the positivity, the players are feeling confident, and we should be winning that. But beyond, and hopefully we can take that into the Newcastle game as well. But beyond that, I don't think that we should be expecting top 4 or expecting that. CP says, where's Sophie? Has she left? No, Sunday Night Live, 8 o'clock. I think we've got Sophie and Flex on tomorrow, so that'll be good. A lot of teams drop points around this time of the season, not saying it's going to be easy, but teams will drop points and the top teams still have to play each other. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, we've got to play that. Look, I'm not talking us out of it. I'm actually trying to play down the expectation, because I don't think it's fair on Ollie to be expecting to get top 4. But, sod it. Let's go for it. Let's definitely go for it. That's what we're here for at the end of the day. And I tell you what, if he does it, I don't see why people wouldn't be saying give him the job on a permanent basis. I think it's fantastic. Hello, you're live on the United Stand. Can you hear me?
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Mark.
Hello?
Yeah, Mark?
Yeah, you're live.
How do I do this? Hey, Mark?
Just talk.
Hey, how are you? Finally, I got on. Yeah, so, Mark, what do you think of that game today?
I'm very, very happy with it. I mean, 5-1, I don't think we've done that very many times in the last sort of decade. So, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, like today, I'm in Canada, and I watched the games at the same pub, and all of my MU fans with me, and I said today, Pogba's got to put up or shut up. Like, he has no excuses anymore. He's got to go out and play and show what this is all about. And he did exactly that, and I was really happy about that.
I mean, look, Pogba, the virus, Mourinho... Oh, sorry, bloody hell. I'll tell you what, mate, I will get you back on in a minute. I'm just going to speak to Flex and then we'll pull you in again. All right, mate?
That's good.
Unlucky. Right, Flex, we should be able to hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. So, where's the fan cams, first of all?
They're on their way in. They're on their way in.
Okay, so...
I'm just uploading now.
All right, so I'm live at the moment doing the call. What was it? You were in the game today. It looked like the stadium was rocking. What's the significance of that performance today?
Oh, it's fantastic performance. The first things first, like we've got to say, it is Cardiff. They are a poor side, but the point is, we made Cardiff look like a poor side. How many games against poor sides can you say we actually made them look like what they are, which are poor sides? And that was the biggest thing for me today. The freedom that the players had. You can tell they were playing without fear. You can tell that they had been told, just express yourselves. Just go out there and do what you know you can do. And sometimes, I said in my review, which you guys will see, football is a very complex game, but it's also got very simple elements to it, which is if you work hard, play without fear, and play to your strengths, 9 times out of 10, apart from when you're playing the big games and there's decided moments, you're going to perform well and you're going to win the game. You know, with the level of players that we got and the ability of the players that we got, to see them play like they did. And to be fair, even before we kicked the ball, the feeling with the fans in the foyer area was just absolutely, it was like it was a cup final and we'd won. That's what it was like. They were singing all the Solskjaer songs, obviously. But people were just excited to come back and watch. And during the warm-up, the players I could just sense that there was a difference. And Pogba, just to touch on him, I mean, I know there's a lot of footage, and I'm going to put some up as well, of him at the end of the game when he was sort of giving his shirt away and fist pumping the fans. There was a bit where he didn't get to take the penalty, and what he did was beat the badge, beating his chest, saying, "Don't worry, Jesse, go on, you take it." Like, it just felt like completely different. And you don't really want to, you know, be able to say like, "Oh, it's just because of Mourinho." But I'm sorry, it looked like that it was completely because of that. I mean, yes, the players have been, you know, accused of not trying for the badge, and they've got to give a better account of themselves. And some fans were even saying to me before the game in the foyer, "Flex, I just don't want to see us automatically play well because it means that they just down tools and that they weren't playing for the badge. And if they don't like the manager, that's one thing, but they've got to play for the badge." And I said, I get that, but you know, I think what we'll see today, which is what we did see, was the fact that you respond to positivity, and if your manager's negative in his formations, negative in his approach, negative in his mannerisms, his press conferences, you know, it's going to rub off, and that negativity has been ripped out of the club and replaced with sheer positivity. And I think it just showed today. It just showed.
It was really interesting because I think we've had a week of people sort of trying to, you know, this Alexis Sanchez bollocks that he was, you know, putting a bet on, and that Pogba was high-fiving people. And I sort of said all week, well, so what if he is high-fiving people? I mean, the contrast between not only Pogba, there was a lot of players today that were way better than we've seen in the last few weeks. Yeah.
Matic he was playing forward. I don't know what it looked like on TV.
Yeah, it was good.
But from where I was standing, he was playing forward passes.
Yeah.
Trying to spray the ball, not trying to take 5-6 touches, but trying to take 2 or 3 and get us playing. That's what it looked like where I was. Jesse was running into places that he wouldn't normally run into, and the way we were getting the ball out to Martial. And every time Martial got the ball, to me, it seemed like the clear tactic was, Anthony, as soon as you get that ball, just attack your fullback. If you lose it, don't worry, we'll work hard and we'll get it. And I'll tell you what, who went under the radar, well, not under the radar because he had a very good game, scored an amazing goal, Ander Herrera. On TV, you can't always see it, but when we didn't have the ball, or when he didn't have the ball, he's constantly shouting at players in a positive way, encouraging, organising, you know, looking, making little movements and angles to receive the ball. He had a fantastic game. And, you know, sometimes, in terms of players that, because some people were saying under Oli who would get a second chance, and you know, Matic is coming for a lot of stick because of the way Jose played him, and you're just looking at it thinking, in different tactics, you know, you can get the best out of some of our worst players, you know. Even Phil Jones is bringing the ball out from defence today and looking all right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I think what came out of it today, and I don't know whether it'll be felt, I mean, I can't wait to see some of the fan cams because you get that different view, is that it was, you know, these Mourinho sympathisers, I'm sorry, there is only one place. There's only one place to look for the blame, and it's clearly on his shoulders. Even Rooney said that on BT Sports today.
Did he?
Yeah.
What did he say?
He just said that he's spoken to players. They just want to play good football. He even said that he called Ole Gunnar Solskjaer up just to say, you know, this is what I think needs to be done because this is what I've heard from players at the club. And obviously he played under Mourinho as well. So. Yeah,
see, and that's it. They're all coming out the woodwork, man. There's no way that them players were enjoying playing for that manager. Why would you? It was so negative, and just with his mannerisms, you can just see the difference. And you know, like I said, it is Cardiff, and you know, you can't say we got our Man United back, but it does kind of feel you don't want to stop short of saying it. I mean, you know you shouldn't after one game, but you know the way they played. And look, we haven't scored 5 since Alex Ferguson was here. You know, and Ollie's done that in his first game because we put them to the sword. And what I really liked about the performance, which maybe not a lot of people talk about, is the fact that when they got their lucky penalty, because I saw the replay twice, and it just looked like it hit him on the shoulder. I don't know what all you guys think.
I thought it was dodgy, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a dodgy decision. But anyway, what we didn't do is go back into a shell and allow them to come into the game. We played football, we kept expressing ourselves, and that third goal, I think, almost is like the pick of the bunch, because
it's brilliant.
That is a Manchester United goal. Quick forward passing, skill, one touch. That epitomises Manchester United, and to get that back in 48 hours. You're trying to tell me Jose's been with these players 2.5 years and hasn't produced anything like that performance? That was a 90-minute performance. With Jose, we kept saying, why can't we put a 90-minute run together? Well, Ollie's done it in his first game. That says everything.
Definitely. Well, thanks for calling in, pal. I know the fan cams are going to start coming in, and we'll get them up for you ASAP.
No problem, guys. Listen, keep enjoying it. I know you guys are talking about top 4 and all that, but let's just take it game by game. Let's just enjoy positive vibes, and Ollie's starting to do what he's supposed to do even after 48 hours. So let's just enjoy it. There's going to be rival fans trying to get under your skin and say you only beat Cardiff. Just hold your head high, guys, and say, listen, we know what we're looking for in our team, and we're starting to see it.
Cheers, pal. I'll speak to you in a bit.
Later. Take care. Bye.
I think that's right as well. I think let's do take it a game at a time. Really important that we do that. Definitely. Let me get Baz back on, because obviously I rudely interrupted him for Flex. Hello, Baz. Can you hear me?
Hey, how are you doing?
Hi, pal. Sorry about that, but
No,
I know he's going to be driving back soon,
no
so I just wanted
worries.
to get him on. So yeah, you were talking about what do you think about Pogba today?
Well, I was glad to see him put in a good shift. I mean, he's being played like the player that we knew he could be. And honestly, I think he just needs to do this consistently now. He needs to be a leader on the pitch. That's what matters right now, and that's what he's going to be given an opportunity to do. And that's the player we need him to be to get to the next level.
I mean, that's interesting when you talk about leader on the pitch. I mean, Ashley Young, captain today. I don't know what your thoughts are on whether he should be captain of Manchester United, but I think more importantly, I think people want to see Luke Shaw left back and Dalot right back. I don't know whether that's going to end up happening or not, but do you think if Ashley Young was moved out of the team, who do you think should be the captain of United? Do you think Pogba is ready for that responsibility, or we should be looking for somebody else?
That's a good question. And I mean, the one thing I said today to a bunch of fans, I said, Ollie's not going to come in and change everything. He's not going to throw in 3 youth players on the bench. He's not going to drop senior players for that. There's a lot of kids that deserve to be like Pereira, that deserve to have a chance today. But in terms of Ashley Young being captain, I think, today it made a lot of sense. And as a captain personality, he does deserve that. Maybe Ander Herrera, and maybe there's a few other players. But the thing is, I do want to see Dalot on the right side consistently. But the problem is, outside of Herrera and Ashley Young, who do you see as a real captain right now? I don't think you can give Paul Pogba the actual armband. I think when I say leader on the pitch, lead by example, do your job, and be the best player on the team. But we do need someone to step up and be a leader on and off the pitch. I agree with that, and a good player to do that.
And just finally, as Manchester United's next manager, who is your sort of head or heart leaning towards at the moment?
I do think Pochettino is the right man in terms of someone who's going to embody what it means to be a Manchester United manager. But we don't have to go for the gigantic name. I think we just need somebody who can handle the pressure, who can handle the media that is required, obviously with the Manchester United job, and also put their own imprint, but keep the club's traditions in mind. And, playing that attacking football, promoting youth. And, I think Pochettino's probably the best person out there right now, but there's also a bunch of other managers that we don't know about that could possibly fill that role. And I think they're going to need to take their time, like they're doing right now, get that director of football in to get an input on that and have that harmony. Because that's the one thing that no one's talking about. If we're going to get a director of football, we need a manager to really have that harmony with that person. And they need to be able to bounce ideas off each other and just, talk about players before the director goes to the board and says we need to target these guys. So I think that's one thing that they need to keep in mind.
Thanks for calling, Baz. And like I say, apologies that we had to take you off, but glad we got you back on. And do please call in again.
Yeah, thank you. Have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
You too, pal. Merry Christmas, mate. I'll speak to you soon. That reminds me, actually. Thanks for that, Baz. Tomorrow night, we've got Sophie confirmed at 8 o'clock. She's coming on, and I don't know who the second guest is, but it's the Christmas party tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on the United Stand. I'm also going to do... what am I going to do tomorrow? I'm going to do sort of a tactics, sort of debrief, look at how we did today, the heat maps. Everyone loves the Goldbridge heat maps, so we'll be doing the Goldbridge heat maps, and a bit of an, there'll be something topical to talk about. I'll probably do that about 11 o'clock tomorrow as well. So lots to talk about with that. A lot of people saying it's only one game. My message to you is lighten the fuck up. I mean, come on. Do you smile at anything? I mean, seriously, it's only one game. Do you not think any United fan realises it's only one game? Do you not think every single United fan knows that it's a massive ask for us to get top four? But do you not think that it is fair to say that performance today is probably our best performance in 6 years? I'm not joking. That's probably our best performance in 6 years. Not because it's Cardiff, but because of the amount of goals we scored, because of the way we played football. That today was a better performance than Mourinho ever managed. It was a better performance than Van Gaal ever managed, and obviously it was better than Moyes because he was total shit. But it's not about the opponents. It's about a team that was very rusty, that wasn't totally fit to play that sort of game because it's been a very lazy team under Mourinho, who all the time was playing with intensity, who all the time was looking forward, who all the time was looking at the risky pass. I mean, there was times when Luke Shaw, Herrera, I saw Matic do it, Lindelof, they're knocking a ball into Pogba or Martial when Martial and Pogba have got two players around them, and it's a risky pass. But Martial and Pogba 9 times out of 10 were dealing with it, controlling it and laying it off to Rashford. The risk pass, you suddenly take players out. You look under Van Gaal, you look under Mourinho, we don't take the risk pass. We go side to side to side to side to side to side. There was that from United today. We haven't been doing that for years. There was an intensity, yes there was. There was effort, yes there was. But there was also a desire to go forward and take risks, and we haven't been playing risk football. And one thing I always say about United is the United way, whatever, but it's risk. So Alex Ferguson would be drawing a game, he'd take a centre back off and bring a forward on, he'd risk, he'd roll the dice to win it, and that's what I think I took from today's performance. And that's why when people say it's only one game, it's only Cardiff, the result could have been 3-1, it could have been 10-1. It doesn't matter, it doesn't change anything for me. The reality is what I take from that game was the intensity, yes, but also what we were trying to do. If you watch the game back, it's what every player was trying to do. I mean, you look at Lindelof, he's almost a centre forward at times. That's our centre back. Right back, left back. The defensive split, which I spoke about in the preview. There was times when David De Gea had the goal kick, our centre backs were splitting like fullbacks to each side of the box so he could knock it out short, and Matic was dropping in to the central position. Where's your fullbacks, Mark? Well, the fullbacks are bombing forward already like wingers. That was something I spoke about, how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will approach his football. He wants to pass out from the back. We don't need to hit this long ball to Fellaini anymore. And that intent was there throughout the team to get on the ball and move the ball forward. I think Chris Smalling will struggle. Chris Smalling didn't go to the World Cup because Southgate didn't trust him on the ball. Why would Solskjaer trust him when Solskjaer wants to play out from the back? Christian Medina says 8 points is nothing. We have our United back. Well, I'm glad that you're that positive. I just want to keep expectation of top four on the download for a little bit because I don't think we should be putting ourselves under that pressure. But we're definitely back in the hunt, and that's all we can hope for. Anyway, please do smash a like on the video for all our callers. us. If you've not watched my match reaction, you can do that through the homepage. We got fan cams coming in very, very quickly. In fact, I know they're ready to go up. I'm literally going to end this stream and I'll have the first fan cam up for you in about 2 or 3 minutes time, which is going to be very exciting to see United fans at the game today. How are they feeling after an amazing week? Thanks everyone for watching. It has been an amazing week. Please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Get involved. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, it's the Christmas party. Looking forward to that. Get your Christmas jumpers on, get a drink ready, and obviously I'll have a video for tomorrow. Speak to you all very soon. Thanks for watching.